After centuries of searching far and wide, scientists have finally found proof of the location of Jesus' burial site. Inside the tomb, they uncovered valuable insights that shed light on long-standing mysteries that have puzzled people for generations. Where exactly was this tomb found, and what surprising secrets does it hold? Did they discover Jesus' remains? Join us as we explore what has been revealed about Jesus' tomb and how it might impact our beliefs. Recently, researchers made a remarkable discovery at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the heart of Jerusalem. This historic church has been a major pilgrimage destination for Christians from around the world for many years, drawing believers to this sacred site. According to New Testament accounts, Jesus was crucified at Golgotha, also known as the place of the skull. This site, thought to have been an ancient stone quarry outside Jerusalem's city walls, holds deep significance in Christian history. About a decade after Jesus' death, a new wall was built, enclosing the area of his crucifixion and burial within the city limits of Jerusalem. This explains why the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is now located within the Old City. Emperor Constantine, a convert to Christianity, ordered the demolition of a temple dedicated to Venus in Jerusalem to make way for a church. During this construction, workers discovered a tomb believed to be Jesus's. Today, pilgrims visiting the Church of the Holy Sepulchre start by climbing a staircase from Jerusalem's main street, the Cardo. They walk through several sections, including an annex, a basilica, and a sacred garden where Golgotha Rock is located, before arriving at the Holy Sepulchre itself. Originally, the rock-cut tomb was left open to the elements, but later, a small structure was built to protect it. The entire complex was richly decorated, as noted by Eusebius of Caesarea, a biographer of Emperor Constantine, and depicted in early 5th century Roman art in the 6th century Madaba mosaic map. Modern excavations have also revealed its elaborate decorations. In 326, Saint Helena, Constantine's mother, traveled to Jerusalem. Legend has it that during her pilgrimage, she discovered what was believed to be the cross on which Jesus was crucified, often called the True Cross. The story of the True Cross's discovery became widely known by the early 5th century. By the 11th century, a cave beneath the basilica ruins became known as the Chapel of the Invention of the Cross. In 614, the church was destroyed by a Persian army, which also captured the True Cross. However, in 631, Byzantine Emperor Heraclius successfully negotiated its return. After the Arab conquest in 638, Christians in Jerusalem initially enjoyed a period of relative peace and tolerance. However, 3 centuries later, changes occurred, including the transformation of the basilica's entrance into a mosque. In 966, a fire started by anti-Christian protests severely damaged the church's dome. In 1009, the Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim ordered its complete destruction. Despite this, Byzantine Emperor Constantine I Monomachos funded its reconstruction, albeit with modifications, including a new entrance on the south side. This newly rebuilt church attracted pilgrims from all over Christendom in the latter part of the 11th century. Throughout much of this period, Muslim rulers treated pilgrims with kindness and respect. It wasn't until the Seljuk Turks took control of Jerusalem in 1077 that rumors began to circulate about Christian pilgrims facing mistreatment and being denied access to the church. The drive to reclaim sacred sites, particularly the Holy Sepulchre, was a major motivator for the First Crusade, which took place from 1096 to 1099. After the Crusaders captured Jerusalem in 1099, eyewitnesses described how the survivors prayed in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre despite it lacking a roof at the time. Over the next 50 years, the church underwent significant reconstruction under Constantine I Monomachos. Although the original layout was preserved, the church was redesigned to resemble Western cathedrals. The surrounding garden became the Crusaders' Basilica, and a separate chapel was dedicated to Golgotha. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was rededicated on July 15, 1149, marking 50 years since the Crusaders took Jerusalem, though construction continued for several more years. Today, the church largely resembles its current form. To manage the large number of pilgrims, measures were implemented to control access within the church, evident from the twin doorways still visible today. Carved lintels, through which pilgrims once passed, were moved to the Rockefeller Museum in Jerusalem following a 1927 earthquake. After the Muslim reconquest of the city in 1187, one entrance to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was sealed. Despite Muslim rule, pilgrims continued to visit, and Western leaders negotiated to secure access rights. The site remained protected for a long time, until archaeologists made a surprising discovery: they uncovered the burial site of Jesus. Inside the tomb, they found something remarkable: old mortar beneath the stone where Jesus is believed to have been buried, dating back to the time of Emperor Constantine, unveiling Jesus' tomb. This discovery supports long-held beliefs about the location where Christians believed Jesus was buried. Looking back, Emperor Constantine, the first Roman emperor to embrace Christianity, is said to have found Jesus' tomb with the help of his mother, Helena, around 325 to 326 AD. Driven by a divine vision, Constantine set out to find the sacred resting place of Jesus. Their search led them to Jerusalem, where they believed the tomb was located. They discovered an ancient Roman temple, possibly dedicated to Venus, which became central to their quest. This historic temple, a symbol of ancient times, was carefully dismantled to reveal the sacred tomb hidden within its walls. As the excavation peeled back layers of history, they uncovered a tomb delicately carved from the rough limestone of a cave. The moment they revealed the tomb's interior marked a pivotal point in history. The natural cave, now considered a sacred space, had its upper section removed to expose the hallowed interior. This groundbreaking discovery led to the construction of the edicule, a protective structure that surrounds the sacred space, preserving the essence of this divine revelation. Constantine's quest and the subsequent revelation of the tomb beneath the Roman temple illustrate the intricate interplay between history, faith, and the search for sacred relics. This story, deeply embedded in Christian memory, intertwines historical and spiritual elements into a meaningful narrative. Within the sacred confines of the tomb believed to hold Jesus Christ's remains, one prominent feature is a long shelf, often called a burial bed. Tradition holds that this is where Jesus' body was laid after the crucifixion, inviting reflection on its profound theological significance. Examining the tomb's details reveals something intriguing: its resemblance to the tombs of wealthy Jews from 1st century Jerusalem. These tombs, carved from durable limestone, often featured similar shelves and niches, reflecting a shared reverence for the deceased. The burial bed, beyond its physical form, holds deep symbolism, connecting to the spiritual story of Christianity. It represents a final resting place that silently witnesses significant events. As we explore the marble covering the burial bed, we connect with the rich narrative of Christian beliefs. This marble, thought to have been placed no later than 1555, offers a glimpse into the passage of time. Historical evidence suggests it might have been there even earlier, possibly as far back as the mid-1300s. Pilgrim accounts through the ages provide valuable insights into these layers of history, enriching our understanding of the site's sacredness. Each chisel mark on the marble and every curve of the burial bed whispers stories from centuries past. The tomb, with its unique features, transcends mere physical space, serving as a vessel of centuries of devotion and contemplation. It invites all who visit to connect with a narrative that is forever etched in stone. Scientific discoveries further deepen this connection. Under the leadership of Chief Scientific Supervisor Antonio Marolo, a team of researchers examined mortar samples from different parts of the edicule, the protective structure surrounding the tomb. Their findings were astonishing. This ancient mortar, rich with architectural history, became the focus of their investigation. By using radiocarbon dating on samples from various locations within the edicule, the scientists aimed to uncover the ancient secrets embedded in the mortar. The latest test results have provided new insights into the timeline of the edicule's construction, enhancing our understanding of this sacred site and its storied past. One notable discovery is that the lower slab of the edicule was likely cemented in place during the mid-4th century. This finding adds significant historical depth to this sacred monument, linking its construction to Emperor Constantine's era, which further enhances the edicule's historical narrative and connects its origins to a major historical figure. The confirmation of Constantine's role in building the edicule is crucial for scholars and historians piecing together the history of this holy site. The mid-4th century timeframe links the edicule's development to the broader history of the Roman Empire. These results have delighted those studying this sacred monument, as they provide concrete evidence of ongoing efforts to uncover historical truths. Once mere remnants of ancient craftsmanship, the mortar samples now offer valuable insights into Emperor Constantine's era and the individuals who helped shape the sanctuary of Jesus' tomb. Scientists employed an advanced technique called optically stimulated luminescence, OSL, to date the mortar samples. This method measures when the quartz sediment in the mortar was last exposed to light, providing precise details about its age. The samples were analyzed in 2 separate laboratories, each contributing to an understanding of the edicule's timeline. By examining how the quartz sediment was exposed to light over time, researchers gained insights into when the mortar was altered. This raises questions about whether the rebuilt church truly represents the sacred site identified by a Roman delegation 17 centuries ago. Despite some uncertainties, the church stands as a powerful symbol of Jerusalem's enduring spirit, inviting both reflection and exploration into the intricate stories of faith and historical accuracy. Researchers studied mortar samples from the southern wall of the cave to reconstruct a historical timeline, dating these samples to the years 335 and 1570, which established a connection between Roman-era construction and a documented restoration in the 16th century. These remnants of mortar preserved within the edicule provide evidence of the long and rich history embedded in this sacred site. The southern wall, having endured centuries of change, showed signs of Roman-era construction, reinforcing the narrative of the edicule's development. Using precise dating methods, scientists decoded the chronological imprints left by various builders and restorers. A notable find was the mortar from the tomb entrance, dated to the 11th century, which corresponds with a key period in the edicule's history, the meticulous reconstruction that followed its destruction. These discoveries underscore the dedication of those who worked to preserve this sacred space, demonstrating their commitment through careful reconstruction in the 11th century. Examining these fragments not only helped determine their age but also honored the skill and devotion of those who contributed to the ongoing restoration of the edicule over the centuries. Today, the tomb attracts millions of pilgrims and is maintained by priests from various Christian denominations under strict regulations dating back to the Ottoman period. Besides the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, there are 6 other sites in Jerusalem believed to be potential locations of Jesus' original burial. One such location is the Talpiot family tomb, situated about 5 kilometers south of Jerusalem's Old City. Discovered in 1980, it gained significant attention after the 2007 Discovery Channel documentary The Lost Tomb of Jesus, produced by James Cameron and directed by Simcha Jakubowski. The Talpiot tomb contained 10 ossuaries, or bone boxes, with names such as Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Of particular interest was an ossuary inscribed with Maria Men, thought to be Mary Magdalene, suggesting a possible marriage to Jesus. Additionally, 2 other ossuaries bore names indicating potential familial connections, Jude, son of Jesus, and Jesus, son of Joseph, leading to speculation that Jesus and Mary Magdalene might have had a son named Jude. However, scholars argue that names like Jesus, Joseph, and Mary were quite common in 1st century Judea, so their presence in the Talpiot tomb doesn't necessarily confirm a connection to the biblical figures. Critics suggest that Cameron and Jakubowski might have overinterpreted these names, as they were prevalent at the time and may not directly link to Jesus and his family. Supporters of the Talpiot tomb, however, point out that DNA testing showed no maternal relationship between the individuals identified as Jesus and Maria Men, supporting their theory of marriage. Yet, critics also note that the DNA could indicate other paternal relationships, such as father-daughter or grandfather-granddaughter. Scholar James Tabor proposes that the famous James, identified as Jesus' brother, might be buried in the Talpiot tomb, suggesting it could be Jesus of Nazareth's family burial site. Chemical tests funded by filmmaker Simcha Jakubowski suggest a connection between the James ossuary and the Talpiot tomb based on trace elements found in East Jerusalem soil. Despite this intriguing narrative, some question the reliability of these results due to the small sample size and discrepancies in the James ossuary's appearance compared to other ossuaries in the Talpiot tomb. Additionally, scholars interviewed for the documentary, apart from James Tabor, have expressed concerns that their statements were misrepresented, highlighting the need for careful scrutiny of the filmmaker's conclusions. In exploring Jesus' possible burial sites, supporters of the Talpiot family tomb face a major challenge. If Jesus' family was from Galilee, why would they have a family tomb in Jerusalem? Archaeologist Jody Magnus points out that during Jesus' time, only wealthy families used rock-cut tombs with the practice of moving bones to ossuaries. If Jesus' family were modest and from Galilee, they would likely have chosen a simple grave. Additionally, Magnus notes that the names on the ossuaries from the Talpiot tomb suggest a Judean origin, as people were identified by their first name and their father's name. Unlike in Galilee, where names typically included the hometown. Thus, the evidence doesn't quite fit the Galilean context. Another proposed burial site for Jesus is the Garden Tomb, popularized in 1883 by Charles Gordon and often referred to as Gordon's Tomb. Its appeal lies in its serene garden setting, attracting many tourists, especially evangelical Christians, who believe it may be Jesus' burial place. However, the Garden Tomb's history is marred by dubious claims, such as Gordon's belief that Jerusalem resembled a skeleton with Skull Hill as the head. Additionally, Ron Wyatt falsely claimed to have discovered the Ark of the Covenant nearby. No tombs from the Second Temple period have been found in this vicinity. Archaeologist Gabriel Barkey examined the tomb complex and found it dates back to the Iron Age, around the 7th or 8th centuries BC. Its architectural style resembles tombs from the First Temple period, particularly those near the Basilica of St. Stephen, meaning the Garden Tomb was already over 600 years old at the time of Jesus, making it unlikely to be the new tomb mentioned in John 19 verse 41. Thus, the Garden Tomb is generally dismissed as Jesus' burial site. Another site considered for Jesus' burial is the Tomb of the Shroud in the Kidron Valley. Its historical authenticity is debated, but it has gained attention due to its proximity to the Garden of Gethsemane and its association with Joseph of Arimathea. The tomb is rock-cut, a common feature in ancient Judean tombs, and may relate to events surrounding Jesus' crucifixion and burial. The name Shroud Tomb comes from an ancient burial shroud or cloth reportedly found there. While some traditions link the Shroud Tomb to Joseph of Arimathea, who, according to the New Testament, provided a tomb for Jesus after the crucifixion, others question its historical connection. The discovery and exploration of potential burial sites of Jesus, particularly the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Talpiot Tomb, and others, continue to fascinate scholars and the faithful alike. Each location, from the traditionally venerated Holy Sepulchre to the controversial Talpiot Tomb, adds rich layers of historical and cultural meaning. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, for instance, is not only spiritually significant but also archaeologically complex, especially with recent restorations that uncovered a previously sealed chamber dating back to 1555. This find demonstrates how even revered and well-studied sites can still hold hidden mysteries. The Talpiot Tomb, discovered in 1980, presents a mix of intrigue and skepticism. With inscriptions like Yeshua ben Yosef, Jesus son of Joseph, and Mariamine, potentially referring to Mary Magdalene, the tomb invites speculation about its link to Jesus' family. However, scholars caution that these were common names in Judea, reducing the likelihood of a definitive connection to biblical figures. Sites such as the Garden Tomb and Dominus Flevit also illustrate how tradition, historical interpretation, and religious reverence shaped the understanding of these sacred locations. While neither is widely accepted as Jesus' actual burial place, both continue to hold spiritual and historical significance for visitors. Ultimately, these findings and ongoing debates underscore the depth of human curiosity about the life of Jesus and his final resting place. Whether or not we find concrete evidence, the quest to understand these sites adds to the narrative of faith, tradition, and historical inquiry in an enduring,